Hi, I'm here in New York at Multimodal, the new co-roasting place. This is such an honor to be here with Paolo. We're going to do a quick tour of the place.
Well, welcome, Brian. I'm Paolo. I'm the owner of Regalia Coffee and now the owner of Multimodal. Multimodal is the house, the roasting house for many different brands, Regalia included. We'd love to come show you a tour.
So I'm not a roaster, but I really enjoy just spaces that allow people to explore coffee. This is a very unique space because you can come here and essentially start an entire career and entire business in the coffee industry. And it's one of the rare places that you can actually do something like that and learn from the best and build an entire career in this industry. I'm very happy to be here. So let's take a look.
Sure. Yeah. Come on over. So the idea behind Multimodal is that it's low risk for the participant, right? So you can come in with any sort of background. You could come in as a prosumer, you can come in as a barista, and you can borrow our equipment to produce your own coffee. Now, whether you scale up as a business or not is up to you, but I will say that most of our clients that come in and roast one bag of green, once that's sold, they're cash flow positive, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Right? So let's go over here to the roaster area. We have 3 roaster stations. Each station is equipped with full access to coffee roasting software. In this case, we use Cropster. It also has access to an incredibly well-tuned roasting machine. Now, a well-tuned roasting machine is really important, much like a well-tuned car, which just, rides naturally. A well-tuned roaster will take your green coffee, your investment, your precious green coffee, and turn it into something that you can enjoy and potentially sell consistently.
Yeah.
And that's really important for us to ensure that you're comfortable on the machine and that you can produce your coffee consistently.
Right.
This is our first roaster. It's a Diedrich IR5. The 5 stands for 5 kilograms, or roughly 11 pounds. That's how much you can do per batch. Now, you won't exactly use this to its capacity every single time. They'll generally use anywhere between 40 to 75% of that batch capacity, but you can produce quite a lot of coffee, even with that being said. This one's using atmospheric burners to be able to heat up the drum. You'll notice that it also has access, its own dedicated computer station, and its own production equipment. Now over here to the right, we have our original machine, which is the Mill City 15 kilogram. So this one's slightly larger, but you'll notice that the setup is generally the same. Its own dedicated computer system, also access to Cropster. This machine has enough flexibility in its operation that you can really produce anything from really delicate light roasts to really robust, bolder, sort of darker roasts, if you will, right? Now, the last machine over here is our ProBot P25 2 series. This is one of the last of its kind before ProBot moved to the third sort of digital series. The P25, outside of it being incredibly beautiful, produces the most coffee in what time? It's a 25 kilogram roaster, so that's around 55 pounds or so per batch size. One of the beautiful things about this system is that you can start off on the smaller machine and slowly graduate to the larger machine if you want to. The quality that you'll get from each machine is about the same, right? And so we hope that people who come here can effortlessly and and smoothly transition from the smaller machine to the larger machine if they need to.
Yeah. So if you start off and you learn roasting here, and you maybe start off on that roaster and build a brand, build a business, and gradually scale up, you can take those same skills and move them along the roasters here, and that's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's really well thought out.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh. It's that's the idea. The idea is that we wanted to keep it fun, almost like a roasting Disneyland in a way, but we also want to keep it always low risk for the members of the collective. We don't have a membership fee, right? So people just come in and they just pay for the time they use, right? But what we hope to sort of build is this community of people that are sharing their green coffee. They already share their roast data.
Right.
They can even see Regalia's roast data, right? Yeah. And through this sort of shared enterprise, people can, again, take their investments, that green coffee, fresh green, and turn it into something that they can sell and really get the most out of that.
Yeah.
So that one day a coffee shop owner who wholesales will build their own coffee line, or maybe somebody in a career path that is totally foreign from coffee can come here on the weekends and roast their own product and sell in the farmers markets or things like that.
Wow. That's awesome.
All right, so we have two types of storage for people. For our smaller clients, we have some sort of hybrid storage where they can use shelf space for stickers, bags, and then we can place their green coffee on top. For our larger clients, we have more traditional pallet storage where we put the heavier items at the bottom, the green coffee bags themselves, and then we put boxes, stickers, apparel, things on top. We find that a lot of consumers, a lot of members will start off here, and as they grow bigger, we'll move into sort of traditional storage. Yep. So after the coffee is produced and roasted, we bring them to the packaging area. The packaging area is where we take the beans, which are thrown into buckets. They're sucked up by a pneumatic tube into the weighing fill machine, which will push out either 5 pounds or 1 pound or 10 ounces, whatever you want for your bags. And then they're put through the belt sealer that you see over there. From there, they're moved onto the flow rack. The flow rack themselves are meant to separate the beans by SKU. So the person on the other side of the flow rack, when they're packing the bags, can say, okay, we need 1 Colombian coffee, we need 1 Brazilian coffee, for example, and effortlessly do it that way.
Whereas I think
So here we are at the lab, being able to take your coffees and being able to quantify them through extractions of many different types is really important. We split the lab into 2 different sections. This section is the espresso section. We have a Keys Spirit 2 group next to a Decent D1XXL, next to a centrifuge. The centrifuge here is where we can take the espresso samples, run them through the centrifuge, and get an extraction without you having to use some sort of filter, syringe filter, which is really important, right? And being able to do that at low cost, right? So we can say take 2 components of the blend, put them through the same machine, and get their extractions so that we can dial in the roast so that the extractions are matching within the same amount of time. On the filter side, we have many different types of brewing apparati, many types of ways of brewing different waters, remineralizing waters, and having access to machines like the X-Bloom, for example. One of the things we'll be doing is we'll be starting a lot of classes here coming September. So if you want to come in for an espresso class, or if you've never used the Decent, for example, and want to use the Decent, we'll be able to do that for you as well. And last but not least, let's talk about the sample roasting room.
Yeah, you guys do cupping here as well.
Yes, that's right. We do cuppings a lot. We do a lot of cupping.
A lot of cupping. Right. This is a pretty interesting room, in my opinion.
Right.
Like, this is kind of the start, like really where you could start everything from.
Exactly. So the sample roasting room is where we take our samples from our importers, and then we put them small amounts into the sample roaster to be able to evaluate for cupping, right? Being able to choose a specific coffee for your menu is a very, very important thing to do. I akin to having it when you go into a restaurant and having a certain item on the menu, it's really representing your restaurant, right? So one of the things we do is we have a sample roasting library where you can come in and choose many different coffees from many different importers. So you don't have to do any of that legwork. We'll have the importers send coffees here, and you can just choose what you'd like, find something that looks interesting to you, throw it onto the sample roaster, and then bring it back into the lab to be able to cup it, brew it, throw it into the espresso machine, brew it many different ways so you could be sure that this coffee is exactly what you want for your menu.
Yeah, I'm wowed by this. You're able to just, wherever you are in your journey, if you want to, maybe learn about roasting, become a professional person in coffee, and get into that, you can do that here. Classes, learn how to roast, and you can start a business in coffee. And I think that is so cool that there's in a place that you can actually express entrepreneurship in coffee. And this is just such a place that checks a lot of my boxes. I wish I lived in New York City, and I wish I could come here all the time.
We'd love to have you.
But yeah, this is Multimodal Roasting. In the following weeks, you will most likely see a bunch of events. You guys are hosting events, hosting a lot of different people here as well. Come here and learn, enjoy yourself, learn about coffee, and I think this will be such a great gathering place for a lot of coffee enthusiasts as well. And I just love when spaces also bridge the gap between the enthusiast and prosumer community and the professional community. And this seems like such a great place to do that. And I'm very excited to see what comes out of it. But
Yeah, the idea of the professional and the prosumer actually is getting a little bit blurred. And so the general message we have for people is it's roasting for all, right? So if you have any interest in roasting, this is the place for you of any scale, right? So we're looking forward to having people here.
Well, thank you so much.
Good to see you,
All right,
Brian.
thank you.